Roll the corn. You know the truth now. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Subscribe to my YouTube, please, if you're checking out the videos. I love you and I'm in love with you. Roll the corn. Peace to the gods and goddesses of Timeri. God's chosen people. We know the truth now. Put where you're from. Put that corn in the chat. Put where you're from. Put the corn in the chat. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Florida in the building. Roll the corn. Asheville in the building. Bam, what up? We ain't doing all that. We ain't doing all that cultural assimilation to go viral. Roll the corn. That's my slogan for the day. We ain't doing all that cultural assimilation to go viral. Roll the corn. Y'all trying to go viral out here. All that land. Roll the corn. We ain't doing all that cultural assimilation and line and capping to go viral. Roll the corn. Grand Rapids, what up? Holy, roll the corn. Kokomo, T. Williams. We ain't doing all that. We ain't doing all that line to go viral and all this old punk to go viral. I love that song, man. Roll the corn. I love that song. We ain't doing all that to go viral, bro. Y'all want to teach aliens. Y'all want to teach all this alien and all this Moorish and African and all this stuff to go viral. We not doing that. Roll the corn. That ain't what we do over here. We ain't doing no cultural assimilation, making up information to go viral. They selling out to go viral. Roll the corn. They selling out to go viral. They want to be us bad. They want to be us bad, people. All these cultural assimilators want to be us bad. Roll the corn. Haven't y'all noticed that everybody want to be a melanated American? Everybody. We got Ottoman Empire. We got Africans. We got Moors. We got everybody want to go viral land, bro. We got all these different people want to be us, bro. Native American, everybody want to be us, acting like they don't know where all this stuff come from. Roll the corn. We ain't doing all that punk shit to go viral. Roll the corn. We know the truth now. Now, yes, hemp was indeed used to make clothes by ancient civilizations. Kushites use hemp to make clothes. Roll the corn. Let me show y'all something. The Kushites made hemp, smoked hemp, and used hemp for clothing. This is a culture of mound building culture. Roll the corn. Let's keep going. Ancient Egyptians used hemp to make clothes. There you go. Other materials, flax, producing linen out of hemp. Produce our own linen out of hemp, people. This ain't no Native American culture. This ain't no Egyptian culture. This ain't no Sumerian culture. This is our culture going over there. Who taught them that? Let's keep going. Roll the corn. We ain't doing all that to go viral. Humans, right, who live exceptionally long or achieve great feats were deified, becoming gods and deities. People who lived longer, knew more advanced, became gods and deities. Let's keep going. Agriculture, right? Complex societies influence the development of mythology and religious beliefs. Agriculture, the people who rolled the corn became deities and started religious beliefs. Let's keep going. Strong link between advanced societal structures and development of mythology. Y'all came up with mythology after our people done all these great feats. Now y'all want to make everybody an alien, everybody a god, you making our people that. Our people. That's what went on. That's what's going on out here, people. Advanced humans built mounds and pyramids, became gods. You see that? The theory that advanced human built mounds and pyramids became, ain't no theory. That ain't no theory, that's the truth. Who are the people who done it first? They became the deities and the gods. Let's keep going. Right? Stronger health, better resources. Did live longer. We got better resources. We are stronger, taller, faster. We think better. We got the agriculture to build great people. That's why the oldest giants in the world right here in America. Roll the corn. In the world, Craig. In the world. Now, let's go look at hemp again. Let's look at hemp. Hemp has been found in mounds in Europe. The discovery suggests that plants used in burial rituals and the importance of textiles in early European societies. In the mounds, hemp in Egypt, hemp in Egypt, America, Europe. Let's keep going. Roll the corn. Hemp being found in mounds specifically within Samaria is very limited, but there is strong evidence of hemp use and potential cannabis use in the broader region of Mesopotamia, which included ancient Sumer. This is a mound building culture. Building clothes, making clothes out of hemp, smoking hemp. Let's keep going. Hemp in Russia. There you go. Ancient cultures. There you go. Practices, beliefs, hemp in these regions, ancient Russia, Tartaria, in Siberia also. Our people already had moved around the world before all these other cultures started moving. We was already putting hemp clothing, nice linen hemp clothing. Let's keep going. In Samaria. Here you go. Yes, hemp has been found in mounds and ancient burial sites in Egypt. Don't you see the culture? Don't you see the culture? Growing hemp, making clothes out of hemp. Let's keep going. Hemp, the oldest fabric found in Japan. Hemp, the oldest fabric found in Japan, made out of hemp. Who came up with this hemp culture of making clothes, the first linen clothing with hemp? This is a mound building culture. Let's keep going. Yes, there's evidence of hemp being found in ancient burial mounds in China. The Chinese didn't put that there. The Chinese didn't put it there. The Japanese didn't put it there. The so-called Mesopotamian didn't put in the hemp. This is a culture going around building mounds with hemp and corn and spiritual beliefs and all of that. And this is where y'all got y'all culture from. All y'all around the world. Let's keep going. Hemp was used by ancient mound builders in North America. Right? The Great Lakes, Mississippi River region. Right? Indicate the use of cannabis, potentially hemp, for various purposes. Now, when I go through the internet, they will not tell you that hemp is native to America. They ain't gonna tell you that because you're gonna figure out where in the hell the mound building culture came from to build all of this stuff around the world. So they're gonna say hemp from Asia. Hemp is from Asia. Man, stop. Hemp ain't from no damn Asia. That's what they're going to try to tell you. Let's keep going. Evidence suggests that hemp was present and utilized in ancient America, particularly by indigenous Americans. They cultivated and used hemp for various purposes in North America before the European settlers arrived. These people on the internet talk about Christopher Columbus brought hemp to America. Y'all done lost y'all damn man. Columbus ain't done a damn thing but came over here and got his ass took to jail. Roll the coin. Let's keep going. Hemp was a vital part of the economy of the 13 colonies. Hemp is indigenous to Asia. That's what they try to tell you. Why is it already over here in the 13 colonies, but it's indigenous to Asia? It is indigenous to here. Hemp was the most important crop in America. How is it native to Asia and it was here when y'all started the 13 colonies? Y'all lying, bro. Y'all lying. Y'all know that hemp came from here, that copper came from here, that corn came from here. Everything y'all find in y'all country came from here. Let's keep going. Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, hemp. Talking about they had hemp fields. Look. Tools used to separate fibers from the stalk. Y'all all came over here and indigenous people already had hemp. Y'all started using hemp to make clothing also. Roll the coin. The founding fathers put the hemp. Stop it. Stop capping. Roll the coin. Stop capping. Here we go. Evidence of use of hemp in North America before the European invasion come from stories told by voyagers who reported seeing hemp growing along the shores and rivers as they explored the inland. Since one of the first brought by invaders was hemp, it might seem hard. See what I'm saying? Growing here first. However, the Europeans were so familiar with hemp, it was hard to believe that to be. Stop lying, man. Hemp throughout the ancient world and extensive in North America. Solid proof that indigenous people were making hemp fabrics thousands of years ago before y'all got over here. Roll the coin. And we find hemp in every place across the books. Every place across the books, right? Roll the coin. Now, I want to show y'all something else. Roll the coin. Al-Nasi. You see that? Al-Nasi. See this pyramid? See that? Al-Nasi. What's the other word for Al-Nasi? Let me explain y'all something how they get the name of these cities. Let me explain to some how they get the name of these cities that we live in America. Al-Nasi, a.k.a. Nash, people. Al-Nasi is a.k.a. Nash. Nash. What city is named after Nash? Put it in the comments. What city is named after Nashville? Nashville. Nash is Al-Nasi. What is the Tennessee Titans logo? What is the Tennessee Titans logo, people? Put it in the chat. What is the Tennessee Titans logo? What it look like? How many stars? How many stars? How many you got? The Tennessee Titans, 3 stars. There you go, Dale. Roll the coin. Dale said 3 stars. You exactly correct. A+. Here go your 3 stars right here. Here go your 3 stars right here on the Tennessee Titans logo. Y'all think I'm making this shit up? There were mounds in Nashville aligned with Al-Nasi, people. There were mounds in Nashville where Centennial Park is aligned with Al-Nasi, which is Nash. Let me show you. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Nash. Star is Al-Nasi. Al-Nas. 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 A part of Sagittarius, right? The Nash star is Al-Nasi. Here's Al-Nasi, the Nash star with the 3 stars of this pyramid. This is where you get, they put mounds on the ground at Bicentennial State Park, aligned with Al-Nasi. They call the town Nashville. The state flag has Al-Nasi pyramid right on the flag. These hunter-gatherers always stealing our information, but I got, look, the Nash Star condos out there, the Nash restaurant, the Nash, roll the corn. Where y'all got that from? Here you go. Nash. Woo, that's fire. That's fire. That's Al-Nas. It's Al-Nas. Al-Nas is Nash. Nashville, Tennessee, sitting on ancient mounds. Roll the corn. Right there in the Bicentennial State Park. They be trying to act like these hunter-gatherers built these names and cities after what they believed in, but they went there and mapped out these mounds to the stars and named the city right after the Triangle of Nash. Let me show y'all the Tennessee logo. Let me show y'all the Tennessee state flag. Show you the Tennessee state flag. Watch this. Let me show y'all the Tennessee logo. Let me show y'all the Tennessee state flag. Show you the Tennessee state flag. Watch this. Tennessee state flag. Watch this. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Now let's get a little deeper. The Titans of mythology come from stars, people. The Titans of mythology come from stars. Hunter-gatherers believe in Titans. Titans come from the etymology of stars. That's why they call the football team the Tennessee Titans. Roll the corn. Hunter-gatherers use star alignments that they didn't know nothing about, turn it into mythology, and give it back to you as if it is true. Titans come from star constellations. That's why they call them the Tennessee Titans. This is their logo. Coming from the Nash star of Sagittarius. Right there. And they know it. Watch this. Let me get one more receipt. Watch this. Roll the corn. Give me a 2. 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 There are mounds in Nashville. Bicentennial State Park sits on a natural spring, people. A natural spring. Mound builders tapped into natural springs. They put that Bicentennial State Park right on top of the Nash mounds in Tennessee. And they act like it ain't even what never there, it never existed. There are ancient columns, Corinthian columns, still in the park. There are Corinthian columns still in the park at Bicentennial. They cut them up. They cut them down. Let me show you. Let me show you. Columns still in the park at Bicentennial. They cut them up. They cut them down. Let me show you. Let me show you. Roll the corn. Look. Look how they cut them down. Look how they cut them down, people. Look how they cut the damn column down. Look at that. Ancient culture was right there. Ancient culture was right there. Watch this. Look. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Look. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. See that? That's where the mounds was, people. That's where the mounds was, right where they put them garbage ass 3 stars. Don't you see the pattern? You see it? Probably some spring water close by. Carolina, you're exactly right. Here you go right here. Whoa. Natural spring sits under this. This ball rotates with water coming out of it. Right here. Roll the corn. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Let's go back and look at it again. Look at that. Roll the corn. This is where the ancient 3 mounds was right here. They knocked them down, put the state park right there, put the 3 stars in the middle, act like wasn't nothing ever there. The Nash triangle. The Nash triangle. Roll the corn. Let's look at it again. Let's check out the Nash triangle again. Here we go right here. Fire. Nash. This is the star name. El Nassau. Right? Nash is El Nassau. Fire. Fire. This is what they do to our country. This is what they do to our country. Give me a 2 if you hear me. Give me a 2 if you hear me. Give me a 2. This is what they do to our ancient cities. They put state parks on top of ancient culture, put the star alignment, they're naming after the star alignment, and they give it right back to you like it's a new city. Roll the corn. There were burial mounds right out here with these columns, people. Burial mounds right out here with these columns. Our people. Our people. They go to 3 stars on the ground right there. It was 3 stars with columns all around the mounds. They tore the mound down, kept the they put them new columns up there, but here go the old ones right here. They moved them out of there. But I want y'all to realize what this is when you go there. This is Kodesh. This is Kodesh. This is ancient culture of melanated people in America with equinoxes and solstices aligned with these stars, people. Now you got a civil rights memorial, a World War II memorial. See what I'm saying? The path of history. Now that's the path of souls. That's the path of souls. Ain't no path of history. the pathway of his. That's the pathway of souls out there. Ain't no pathway of history. Roll the corn. We know the truth now. It was something else I was looking at too. Let me see what I was looking at. Something I was checking out about the silver pharaoh. Something else I was looking at. Roll the coin. Yesterday receipts. Let me see. Now, okay. This is something I want to show y'all. Now, I want y'all to look at the headdress, right? Look at the headdress. Like a cone, people. You see that? This is called the head jet of Upper Egypt. This is Ramses II. Ramses II wore a head jet because he was from Upper Egypt, right? Right? Let me show y'all something. You see that, right? Let's go back and look at an artifact coming out the mounds that I want y'all to look at. It's very, very, but it's old, but you can get the picture of what I'm talking about, right? Let me show y'all something. Y'all see the head jet, right? Check that out. The head jet. Now let's go back. Now look at this artifact. Look at this. You see that cone shape? See that cone-shaped headdress on the mound builders? That's a melanated man, bro. Stop playing. Do you see the cone on the melanated artifact coming out the mounds? Shout out to Casey Macon for this receipt. Casey Macon, shout out to him for this receipt. So these are artifacts they're not going to show us. Look how beautifully made this is. This is an ancient mound builder artifact. Look at the headdress, like a cone. Right? Let's go back to Egypt. Now, the reason I'm showing y'all this is, this culture goes together. One is just way older than the other one. After you evolve, the headdress becomes with the snake in the front and all of that. But why are mound builders wearing the same style cone head jet? And you could tell these artifacts I'm showing you are way older. Way older, right? Let's look at that again. This stuff is way older. But look at the way the face is structured look at the nose knocked off. Look at the nose knocked off, just like in Egypt. They knocked the nose off our statues. So we can't even tell, roll the coin. Roll the coin. This comes from America. This comes from America. Right? Now, what's interesting about this right here is this is where they found the silver pharaoh, right? This is where they found the silver pharaoh, in this area right here. The silver pharaoh. Silver not from Egypt, people. Silver is not from Egypt, people. Ancient Egypt did not have no silver to make a silver pharaoh. How do they have a silver pharaoh with it's just as expensive as King Tut tomb? The silver pharaoh in this area in Upper Egypt. Ain't no silver there. So when I research it, they say it comes from East Asia. They say it comes from East Asia. But this silver mine that they talking about in Asia they just started working in that silver mine couple hundred years ago, right? A couple hundred years ago. How is a couple hundred years ago silver mine making pharaohs from BC times tombs? It don't make no sense. That silver coming from America, people. That's the only place I can see it. We got silver in the Grand Canyon. We got silver in California. We got silver all over the West Coast. So that silver did not come from Egypt, and how the hell did it get over there? That's the thing we're trying to figure out. I'm working on that. Roll the coin. That's a very deep conversation. But that silver not from there. It is not from there. So I want y'all to research that. The silver pharaoh, and I didn't even get all my receipts, but the silver pharaoh is very, very interesting because it does not, there's no silver in Egypt nowhere. Nowhere near there. And they try to say it came from Asia, but we all know that Asia mine, when I researched it, is not even, they ain't pulled enough silver out of it to make nothing in ancient time. It's not old enough, right? So that's what I wanted to show y'all today, man. The mound building culture had hemp, copper, and that copper coming from the Midwest. All of these different stones are the same in the mounds. All of the symbolism is the same. Everything is the same from our ancient culture moving around the world. That's why I like to show y'all that. Hemp is in Egypt, Samaria, ancient China, ancient Asia, ancient America. But we got Hopewell. Hopewell had hemp, right? The Mississippian culture used hemp for linen. It was all in Virginia in the mounds, at the Grave Creek mounds. Linen made out of hemp. So that is a culture. That is our culture. And YT people got rich off hemp also. They got rich off hemp. Every crop we originated with in America, they got rich off of it. Hemp, cotton, corn, tobacco, all of it, right? So y'all got any questions about anything, hop in the guest box. Hop in the guest box. Or if y'all got any receipts or anything like that, just hop in there. But I'm still studying Nashville. I'm still on Nashville. It was some, and they also have a silver, haru. It's a silver haru that was found over there too. Large silver haru. Found, let me get some pictures of it so I can show you. Silver haru that was found over there too. Large silver haru. Found, let me get some pictures of it so I can show you. Fire. Fire. This is fire. This is fire. Y'all see that? Fire. Fire. Now, what makes the silver pharaoh interesting was silver coffin, silver. This is the pharaoh's name right here. Susinis, silver pharaoh. Ain't no silver in Egypt. In ancient times, only two places with silver. Asia and America. And we all know we have a bigger, way better connection to Egypt than any other place in the world. Look it up. Where they get this silver from? So they hide this. They don't want you to study the silver pharaoh because the silver pharaoh breaks down that these metals was coming from America, right? Let's go look at Horus. Fire. See it? Silver pharaoh, fire. Fire, fire, fire. Look at that. Beautiful. That silver did not come from Egypt. That silver came from either America or Asia. And 9 times out of 10, y'all already know it came from America because Egypt did not have silver back in these times when they built this. Roll the coin. Indigenous. You got a question or a comment? What's up? Hop in the guest box. Y'all have a question or a comment.
Greetings, brother God. Greetings.
Well, what's up, bro?
Hey, first of all, salute, hat off to you for carrying this torch, this flame, this eternal flame that you carry.
Appreciate it.
Look, with all the lies that we are debunking,
Yeah.
Egypt, ancient Egypt,
Yeah.
East Asia, all that is talking about the same place, and that is America.
Yeah.
So when they say ancient Egypt had a silver pharaoh and the silver came from Asia, if you look at older maps, America was once known Asian. That's why we was the Asiatic black man.
Yep. That's
So
what they call it,
they telling us that they telling us. I say again.
Asia Minor and all of that. Yeah.
I mean cut you off.
Yeah. That's why they say Asia Minor,
So
stuff
when
like that.
they tell us ancient, we was Asia Major, just like we was India
Asia
Superior.
Minor. Yeah.
Like they telling us the truth, but they lie to us because we don't know our ancestors' truth. But
Yeah.
basically, they telling you the truth. Yeah, it is ancient Egypt, but this is ancient Egypt. It came from Asia because this is Asia. So they really tell us the truth. But it's individuals and grown men with connections to the ancestors like you that are waking us up and reminding us that they never lied to us. We just didn't have the connection to know the truth from these stories they're making up.
Yep. They kept us.
Thank you very much, King.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate you.
Y'all follow indigenous. Y'all follow indigenous. Follow indigenous. You're exactly right. They kept us in the dark about what they found, the materials that was used, um, all of the things that they coming out of these mounds and pyramids are exactly the same. Some are just older. Um, and one thing else about the silver pharaoh, he was wearing kilos of lapis lazuli, right? And that is also found in on the west coast of America. He was wearing kilos of this on his neck inside of the tomb. So it's very interesting that ain't no silver in Egypt, and we have this massive silver tomb. This is a whole sarcophagus, people, all the way to his feet. You say, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means that the silver that made this pharaoh came from a whole nother area of the world. Where did it come from? If these were independent people, not from with no existence from another culture, why are they using silver on sarcophagus? It's not from their land, bro. Marcus, what's up? Let me get one question.
Do is I'm on the phone. Uh, I would like to know how will I go by researching something. What I really want to research
Yeah,
is the history, how it looked when they first got here, when white people first came to America. How did the Americans look? Because I'm looking at some of these buildings, and then they riding horse and buggy.
yeah.
There's no way they could have built these buildings, you know.
You're right.
And when they do a movie, it's like Columbus came to a new land, and all you see is forest, trees and mountains. You don't see no structure. But in these pictures where they didn't put a one in front of the address or whatever, a one in front of the year that the building was built, and it's obvious that's what they did.
You're
I
right.
mean, how did America look? It had to be a civilization here. It
Yeah.
it couldn't be how they described it, man.
Let me show you. Mound builders built cities of Egyptian brick. We had cities already built out of brick in this
Right.
in this country when these people came. A lot of these granite and limestone buildings are already here, and what the connection is all of the quarries and mines that they mine today in America. those were the same places the mound builders pulled limestone and granite out of to make these buildings. They had evolved to make so-called Tartarian style buildings. Mound builders evolved to do that, right? So when
Right.
we got here, there was magnificent cities already here. Atlanta, New York, San Francisco, St. Louis, Chicago, Miami. It was already, that's where these old buildings come from because the ancient culture evolved and started building buildings out of either Egyptian style adobe bricks or they built it out of limestone and granite. And they pulled that granite right out of the ground, shipped it to these areas and built these buildings. That's why we still but when they got here, that bloodline of people was dressed nice. Like I said, they already was making linen and different color linens, and they was making everything out of plants, right?
Right. Right.
So we was wearing plant linen. You can dye it different colors. I even read about the mound builder in West Virginia buried a different color linen made out of hemp with a headdress on to match it. I'm talking about beautiful things that the Smithsonian got that they won't show us, but we was already dressed nice. We already had buildings. The mounds were for more ceremonial and burial purposes, but mounds are found outside of Tartarian style buildings. Research Grave Creek Mound,
Grave
where they found the key.
Grave Creek.
Yeah, Grave Creek in West Virginia, and it has a penitentiary right behind it, a Tartarian style building that they turned into a jail in West Virginia. All of it go together.
Okay. Okay. You also did a segment on it was some building in Chicago, but I know
Yeah,
the limestone came from like southern Illinois.
yeah, yeah,
Once again, they showing horse and buggy,
yeah.
people standing on the steps, like you said, you can see right through them. And so, if you got a horse and buggy, there's no way
No way.
that you could bring that much material that far, that heavy,
No, exactly.
and with no crane, stack it up. It don't make sense.
There you go. There you go. The pictures are Photoshop.
Yes,
They Photoshop. They put their
something
picture
ain't
out
right.
there with a horse and a carriage, acting like they built it, but they don't have the technology. They still didn't have the technology to build those buildings in the 1400s here. Not them.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they were founded. They were found because these places go underground. Like the way these Capitol buildings are built, the granite goes underground, um, 15,
Quite a
20
way.
feet. They got
Right.
basements and everything. So to
Right.
build this type of
Right.
structure is almost impossible.
You
Um,
know where you said something about all you have to do is look up like every capitol building in every state and it pretty much can caught on fire.
caught on
So it
fire.
didn't look like they were reconstructing it. They were either tearing it down or there was a reason. But you showed one building that they was building and it was like they started building it in 1889. They was done in 1891. There's
Mhm.
no way you could have built a building this big in 3 years, and it take longer now to build it out of lighter material, you know. But you gonna tell me you built a what was it? I think it was a ballpark or something. You saying that they trying to say they built it in 3 years? That's impossible
It's impossible.
for where this material came from. It would take you longer than 3 years to go get the material.
It's impossible. I just
Impossible.
I just saw a video on TikTok where this woman took a picture of some melanated Sumerian man on the side of the buildings in Waco, Texas,
Wow.
looking just like an Anunnaki, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Anunnaki is black people.
They mound builders, right?
Right, right,
So
right. There ain't no alien.
there ain't no aliens. I need to go find a picture of that and pull it up. But they don't. That's the mound building culture that's evolving to build these buildings.
Evolving. Right,
And they got
right.
them all
Evolving.
inside the building still today in America. Because see, people didn't believe that theory when I told them that they were mound builders. But but the books, the old books I read showed me that the people came there building mounds and irrigating the rivers and stuff like that. And that
Right,
became the alien teaching, but it's not true, right?
right. Me and my wife, we went to Troy, Michigan, because I wanted to go inside of the White Chapel. They wouldn't let us in. Something was going on that day. Uh, but it was some people's in there though, but they wouldn't let us in. It was something they were doing something or whatever. I wanted to see the inside of it, and I asked a white lady. She was kind of old. And I said, wow, man, the people who built this building had to be geniuses. And she said, oh, yes, yes. So I said to her, I hope you know that this is black man uh, engineering, black man knowledge and agriculture. She just would not agree to that. She was like, there's no way a black person could have did that. But why you got melanated people and they not made and stuck to the wall. It look like they are carved in the wall. When they made the wall, it's all one stone. That's what it looked like to me.
It's
But I
copper.
wanted to go inside.
One part is copper, right?
Okay.
To work, and the mound builders worked all the copper out of the Midwest. See, all of it goes together. I think I got a picture of that than what you're talking about.
But that White Chapel, that is a nice looking building, man. And woo, what tool did they use to make it so precise? Because one side is exactly the other side. And you telling me that building that old and y'all had that technology? Something don't add up with that, man.
Here we go right here. See, this is copper.
Yeah. Oh, that's copper.
Inside of the building with the locks.
Right. That's
White
That's
Chapel.
the picture. Yeah, that's the picture I saw on your podcast right there. Those are dreadlocks hanging off of that man.
Those are dreadlocks in the building. And then they also it's a porcelain. It's porcelain statues in there also with like a young melanated woman with locks.
Okay.
In their building also, and then it has all of the Sumerian, symbols on the building too, like the griffin, the swan, and all of that. See, all of that comes from mound builders. Same
Right.
stuff coming out the mound, but they evolved up to building these buildings. That's why I was trying to show people the symbolism. The griffin was once the piazza bird.
Right. I've been following you that long.
Yeah.
But I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we have a hockey team called the Griffins. And they don't even know the history of it, bro. I mean, you just called yourself a Griffin because somebody said you're a Griffin. Bro, look it up, man. I'm the type person, truth, I want to know everything about anything. If I learn something, I want to know everything about it. There's one last thing I want to ask you.
Okay.
This is something I want to do, man.
Okay.
Slavery was very ugly. But there's one thing about slavery they would not speak of. They won't put it on TV, and that is the breeding plantation. I want to research that. I want to bring that to life, man, because from what I've gathered so far, some of the young girls, as soon as they started their administration, they were put in a pen, to be bred. And some of these kids were 10, 9 years old who came on the administration and had to bear children until they couldn't bear no more. I mean, that's an ugly truth, but I really want to do the research on that. So I don't know if there's a way I can go to Mississippi to get public records, old records. I don't know how to do that, and I really want to bring that to life to people.
They have there are plantations all over Mississippi that they let people go in there and research it with research in there. That's a very that subject so touchy. I saw some research on it, but it's not enough for me to, like you said, it's hard to find.
Right.
But the only place I ever saw something like that with those type of pens you talking about is on them plantations down in the South. But I'll check it out, and if I find something I'll send it to you.
And I sure appreciate it, man. I sure would.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all follow Marcus. Thank you, Marcus.
All right.
Thank you. The Veggie Trap. What's up? You got a question or a comment? Appreciate you, Marcus.
Hey,
Hey, how you
I've
doing?
been following you for a while. Well, a little while.
Thank you.
I love your content. I want to say that I want to just thank you for taking out the time to educate us. You have like opened up my eyes so much. I don't know if you saw my mention. I saw that you were talking about the mound builders, and I literally just took my family to the Cahokia mounds. And they have, when I say like they don't allow, you can go like up the mounds, but they are telling us like not to go on the sides of them. And I was just asking my husband and my kids, I'm like, why would they tell us we can't go on the side of them, but we can climb all the way to the top, all the way down? So I'm just confused as to like, and also I wanted you to see if you could kind of expound on what is the difference like as far as the structures, because the mounds are to me like baby pyramids or not, or like, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. They don't want you to go inside the mounds first and foremost because most of the mounds got entrances to them.
Oh.
They put turf over these mounds and cover up the doors and stuff like that. Cause see, the reason I found that out was when I researched the mounds in other countries, they leave the doors open on them. They have brick structures. You can walk straight in the inside. Might be a falcon on the floor, might be a fire pit in there, stuff like that. But in America, they close off the doors of the mounds. They either they brick them in or dirt them in, or they just put turf over it and cover the inside, right?
Yeah, I thought that was so wrong. I'm like, what are they saying? We can't go to the sides. That's the weirdest thing.
It's something back there they don't want you to see.
That's what I said. I told look, we was like, we gonna come back at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and just,
Yeah.
go research it, because I'm literally 20 minutes away, and we just recently went this past Saturday, and there was a lot of people up there, but we were just, and I'm like, this is not, they're not telling the truth, because every park that you enter, they always got a story of what they believe happened and what they think, is going on. And I was just telling my children, I'm like, you have to research more. You can't just, because they're going to tell you something to disconnect you from being connected to this, so that's why I want to take them to like the historical sites and stuff like this, so that maybe, I believe in past lives and all of this. So I'm like, I don't know, you could have been a mound builder somewhere else, so I don't know, but I just want to take them to see those things. And I told them, I'm like, these people built these for a reason. I'm like, it's a reason they didn't want to be down on the ground. Maybe, I don't know if it was, I don't know, to be totally honest. We were just flabbergasted, but I just wanted to say that because I saw you were talking about mound builders.
Now, one big part of the culture is you align these mounds for the spring and for the summer, right?
Right.
When the sun arises over that Monk's Mound that you was on,
Yes.
coming from the spring, that is like a celebration of to town to plant seeds, right?
Okay.
And the summer solstice aligns another direction in Monk's Mound. It's time for the harvest of the crops. So those mounds are aligned with the spring and the summer solstice, and they also are aligned with Orion's belt. Around the stars in the sky.
Yes.
Right? So this is the same type of teaching that Egypt done. Same type of teaching that ancient Samaria done. One culture doing the same thing they always done. But in America, they just try to tell us it's Native American.
Yeah.
No, it was melanated people. Ancient melanated teachings on the ground with these mounds. And like I say, some of the mounds were used for ceremonies, burials. Others were used. The chief lived on top of some of them. They had different purposes, but they all align with solstices and equinoxes and stars.
I agree, because the way that they're set up, and I was just it almost, I don't know if I can even say pissed on her, but it almost pissed me off that y'all made a road right through. The street to even get there is literally right through their mounds. Like, and I'm like, y'all had to have built over this or something. And when I say my children, I'm just so glad that they were aligned with it. I'm gonna step out the classroom, but they were aligned. They was like, "Mama, that's not right. Who did they ask to do this?" And I'm like, they never asked. They never asked. They never get to. Yeah, and it just, I'm like, and if you see them, it's like the Monk's Mound is obviously the largest, but as soon as you get to the top of Monk's Mound, you can see multiple mounds all around, and I'm just like, how do they just feel like, okay, we're gonna put
over 100 some mounds out there?
That I know, and that's, I'm like, where did they go? Because they're not there. It might be like 10 left.
And what's so great about Cahokia? whoever built it was the smartest people on the face of the earth, because Cahokia is aligned with pi, like the perfect earth rotation.
Yeah.
It's aligned with pi. It's aligned with the eagle. It's just perfect. The bottom of the monk's mound is almost the same feet as the bottom of the pyramids in Egypt.
Yes, and that's why I was like, they were
Perfect.
like, they don't want us walking around. They was like, do not go on the side of the mounds. Just take the stairs, and then the other ones you can't even access. Like the little smaller ones,
Yeah.
you can really only go up on Monk's Mound. The other ones, they don't allow you to, at all to go through. And I just got hip to like Tartarian buildings, so I'm driving all through St. Louis. Well, I live in St. Louis, but I'm 20 minutes from Cahokia. But I'm driving all through St. Louis, and I'm like, look at Union Station. Look at the our Capitol building. We even they still have preserved the building where they used to sell the slaves, like at the auction block downtown, in the middle of downtown St. Louis. And I'm just like, look at all these buildings that have copper on them. I was telling my kids, I'm like, anytime you see them copper wire or look like an antenna, I'm like, those have been heard. They don't let them lie to you and say that they was built in 1901 and they can't build them buildings now.
They found the melanated king on the coast of St. Louis on the Mississippi River. It's like a rock. They just got a little rock out there right now, like a memorial. But there's a large mound that they tore down right there on the Mississippi River, and it was a melanated king mound builder buried in St. Louis. And in St. Louis, those red brick roads downtown.
Yeah.
That's ancient culture. They just left it.
No way.
And the buildings right there with that red brick cobblestone road. Yeah, that's ancient culture right there because it's right there on the Mississippi River.
It's right there on the Mississippi. You are so right. Oh my God! Like, this is when I say I was so happy to find your page. I'm like, people thinking I'm crazy, and they're like, no, girl. And I'm just telling them, I'm like, look at the way that these buildings are built, and then look at the new construction stuff. Everything is brick, and like they were saying, like when it's a square building or something, it trap your energy a certain type of way or something. So when I say I'm all over the place right now, but I'm getting it together. It's so much information that I'm trying to intake, but it's overwhelming and it's hurtful. Like when I think about that, like that hurt my feelings so bad. It really does.
Exactly right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, but you can take me off. I just wanted to say that I had been wanting to talk for so long, and I was like, let me finally got my chance. But I appreciate your work and thank you so much because you are awakening us, like for real. I really appreciate
you so much. I appreciate you.
All right.
Follow the veggie trail. I really appreciate that. It's just I just want the people, people when they get on here and say they just, they look at things different. That's all I wanted to do when I first started putting this information out. I just wanted us to look at things a little different from what they told us throughout history, because it's a lie. It's a lie. There was great cities already here, great culture already here, ancient culture already here. All that granite and limestone that these Capitol buildings are made of were pulled out of places where mounds and culture was living there. So I just want y'all to, because you could trace the granite and limestone out of Capitol buildings right to a quarry in that area where you live, and there's mounds out there, and they found ancient bones out there, and there were people there who built this stuff. They don't want us to know nothing about it, right? Any questions? Any comments? Hop in the guest box. And I want you to research the World's Fair too, the Veggie Trap. Research the World's Fair. Look at those buildings. Look at that culture that was already here. A lot of those buildings were torn down. They kept some of them, but those are how our cities look when you go back and look at the World's Fair. Patrick Williams, you got a question or a comment?
Hey, how we doing? I only have one question. What
Okay.
can you tell us about the Colimoki Mounds that are in Georgia?
Colimoki Mounds, South Georgia, right?
Yes, sir. About 45 minutes from Albany.
They align with the Pleiades star system, just like the bottom of Egypt. Cause they right up beside like a river or a creek or something like that.
Yes, sir. It is. It's directly next to a creek and a river that still runs through it.
I studied those. They align just like the bottom of Egypt. It's the Pleiades star system on the ground right there in South. Is that like Savannah or something like that?
No, it's
not Savannah. It's
like Blakely.
Yeah,
Not Blakely, but it's near Blakely and Edison and Fort Gaines.
yeah. They're
It's
land.
around that area.
Those are melanated people mounds, aligned with stars, right there. I researched those. Colimoco. Exactly.
Yeah.
I never been to those, and I didn't get a chance. I went to Ottawa and Okmulgee, but I got to go to Colimoco. But I researched them. They
All right.
just like the bottom of Egypt.
And then too, again, thank you. I'm the one that I would be saying Turtle Island, the original trap house.
Yeah. Appreciate you, bro. I see you
Appreciate
a
you.
couple of times.
All right, thank you. I still
No
die
doubt.
now. Appreciate you.
All right, y'all follow Patrick Williams. Yeah, Patrick Colimoco is aligned with stars, bro. I got a diagram of Colimoco mounds with a sun temple and 7 mounds like the Pleiades. They tore some of them down, but it's exactly what's right there. That's the sign. It's built the same way Vicksburg, Mississippi is. See, what's interesting about that is on these rivers in the southeast is always the same layouts. It's a culture building the same star alignment on the Milky Way on these rivers in the southeast. And that is a culture of our culture doing this in these mound complexes. And I want people to understand that these mounds we don't even know how old they are. Like they try to put like 1,000 years on them, but these things are way older than that. Way older. Hop in the guest box. 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 Give me a 2. 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 Y'all hear me? Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Colimoco Mounds in Georgia, particularly Mound B, was aligned with celestial events, functioning as a sundial and also aligning with the Pleiades star constellation. That is our culture. That is our culture. The Pleiades is our culture. Roll the coin. When you see Orion, the Cygnus, Sirius, Pleiades, Sun Temple, all this runs up the side of the Milky Way. Off top of my head, I told you, I just studied these mounds, bro. This is our culture. They're aligned with the Pleiades constellation. You see that? Celestial events. Spring, summer solstice, spring equinox for the sowing and the harvest of seeds. And it's aligned with the Pleiades because the Pleiades during the spring is a straight shot up the Milky Way, and you see it in the background. Roll the coin. That's why they put it on the ground. Ancestral spark. What's up? It's deep, man. It's not easy information to study, but it's there.
Peace, beloved. How are you?
Peace. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm great, bro. There's a lot of things going on right now,
Yes,
but what's going on here is that we're being re-educated, and that's the most important thing. And the sister that was on, who has the children, this information is going to be passed down to those children. Those children are going to have a whole different outlook on when they get to school and start to grow up. They're going to make changes in this world, and this is what it's all about. And this is why I always, and especially today, I want to give you your flowers, bro.
Thank you so much.
You know what I'm saying? For real, man. Really appreciate you a whole lot. Just to bring you up on speed on something, one of my friends who we've been knowing each other for over 40 years that was working down at the Smithsonian, he retired a couple of years ago, but what he told me was, when we had a conversation, he said, this is what you can look out for. And I'm saying, what's that? He says, the current person that's in office, number 47, he's going to be making some changes. I'm like, what you mean changes? He's saying, bruh, I'm telling you. So, just recently, what he did with the African American Museum, Start taking exhibits out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, I don't know where this is going, but I know one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. You know, we're not going to, or should I say that our seeds are not going to live like we lived. They're going to live better, bro. And something that you said that I cannot get it out of my head, but I have to say it, that it's going to come down to a silver WAR.
Yeah.
Because these people are not going to give it up. They're not going to give it up along. As long as they're being exposed, they're putting more restraints in place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we just got to be ready, man. But the information is most important. And you giving this away for free. You hear me? Motherfuckers going to college. They're going to college, getting degrees, paying $7,500, $200,000 for information that they will never be able to use.
Exactly.
And this information right here is definitely fertile information, man. You know, this is what, and I'm not proud, you know, to say this, but my dad was a master mason.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I know what he actually learned and what his position was as a gatekeeper, I'm not actually proud to say that. You know what I mean? I'm not, man. You know, and
ain't nothing wrong with it, because in that era where your dad lived, that was the way to attain information.
Yeah,
those were some of the only people with some of this knowledge that's out today that can give you some of these, you know. So people got attracted to that because that was the only place they can go to get supreme knowledge at the time. Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah, I respect.
I respect that. However, you know, that part of the oath that they take is to never reveal the information that they have learned in them, so their head will be taken off by the sword.
Yeah,
that's on their symbol.
Exactly. That's what the sword is for.
That's what the sword is for.
And also, the sword is to draw down on the indigenous people of the land too.
Yes, because they were made enemies of the autochthonous people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they changed the definition of indigenous to include Native Americans. Yeah. So that's why I don't use that definition anymore. We are autochthonous. That means that everything that's in the soil is in our DNA. And everything in our DNA is in the soil. That's why all genius comes from here.
Yeah.
All genius comes from here because we have the most fertile land and we are the most fertile people.
Exactly.
I love you, brother.
Well, you too, brother.
There ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm in love with you.
Roll the corn.
Peace, you can drop me.
Y'all follow Sparks of Light. Appreciate this, Sparks of Light. Because you're exactly right, man. He said something powerful. By us taking these kids out here, opening up their mind to it, is a whole. It's so much power in it itself. Because one of these kids might be the tool that changes the way everything goes. You never know who got sparked. The same way my great grandmother sparked me with that mound at the burial site. That'll spark somebody else's interest in doing this, and that's what it's all about. And like you say, man, we owe our people this knowledge. This knowledge ain't for sale. True enough, everybody, y'all look out for me here and there. That's cool, but it's not for sale. Now, it is the power of our people learning this stuff is worth so much spiritually that you can't even put a value on it anyway. So a lot of people, like you say, are trying to charge you to teach you mythology and teach you teach classes for $20 a month and all of that. But this is our people's salvation. This is our people's knowledge. This is our people's history. This is not for sale. You see what I'm saying? So if I got on here and it was just y'all on the live looking at it every day, it don't matter to me because this is what I'm supposed to do with this. The enlightenment of my people is worth way more than anything else. Like that is that monetarily side is petty. That's the petty side. You know, some people use just for monetary value, but that's petty, right? It's petty. You can't gatekeep information from your own people for personal gain. That's not virtuous. It's not virtuous at all. And a lot of people do that. And it bothers me. And a lot of people use a lot of the wrong teachings to hand down to our people also, and it bothers me, right? Those two things bother me the most. Misdirection with your teaching and trying to personal gain off of the knowledge, right? If people gonna look out for you, they're gonna look out for you anyway. If nature gonna look out for you, the earth gonna look after me. So I ain't really worried about that. I'm good anyway. But at the same time, some people try to use this as, you know, as a tool to come up. And that bothers me. And I be wanting to call names, but I don't be wanting to get low and roll in the mud with a pig, because the pig like it down there. So I ain't gonna do that, but the way you peep that out is like it down there. So I ain't gonna do that, but the way you peep that out is, do these people actually want to ever meet up with their people and do something with their feet on the ground? Are these people really connected to this stuff the way we talk about it? Or are they just using it to rile up the people for monetary gain? That's how you got to look at it. Because like I say, a lot of these people are not connected to this information, right? The alien story can be manipulated so many times that you can become rich off the alien story, right? And these people figured that out, and their beliefs system is not the same belief system we have. So they actually teach it as if it is true, and you mislead your people. Let me give you an example. If I go to Egypt, and then when I pull up and I see the pyramid, and the first thing I think is that an alien built it, hunter-gatherers won. If I go to Egypt and I see the pyramid, I'd be like, damn, the aliens built this. Hunter-gatherers won. Because they have misdirected you to make you think a certain thing that is not true, right? You supposed to hop out of Egypt like, my ancestors built this. Not no damn alien. You look at an ancient building, stories high, made out of limestone. You don't supposed to be thinking that a Tartarian built it. My ancestors built this. That empowers you to be like, how great of a people had these people had to be to even build this. That inspires you to be great, right? That's what it done for me. I go to the mounds. I went to Winterville Mounds, people, and I just got inspired. Like, bro, how did they even build this, bro? Like, this is amazing. It had to take years to even build this. With a fresh water system running right through it, bro. With fish traps. And imagine how this stuff looked when it was really up and running. Imagine our people running around these mound complexes up and running with all this beautiful clothing on and jewelry and belief systems. And just imagine if you could just see that with your own eyes. All this unity, all this everybody eating together, all of this trading goods at mounds. Just beautiful, virtuous people, farmers on the land with nobody over their head to tax them, nobody to tell them to move this and do that. And just imagine that freedom and that glory of those people on the land. Living in peace. That's enough for me to empower me to teach it for free till I'm 100 years old. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Saint Angelo, what's up? You got a question? Comment?
How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. How you doing? You hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, how you doing, bro?
Doing all right. How you doing?
Yeah, good. To ride alongside what brother said, like we're indigenous because the soil is in our DNA, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can contest to that. Even though I'm from, I mean, not contest, but I affirm that. Being born in Chicago, I took a trip to Arizona and I grabbed red clay. It's the same color as my skin tone. It
Yeah.
blended in. I'm not even from there.
Yep. That's exactly.
Then that's
We are made of earth matter, red clay matter. We arose out of the red.
yeah, and that's my skin tone. It's reddish brownish. Even though they calling me the BLK word, my skin tone is reddish brown.
Exactly.
And
That's where
and
you
just
come from.
yeah.
And the red clay. I'm gonna drop a jewel on you, bro. It's a place in Mississippi. I cannot think of the name of it right off the top of my head right now. But it's like the Grand Canyon of red clay. They don't even talk about it. Ancient culture dug so much red clay out of the ground right here, bro. It's like the Grand Canyon. If you can Google it, I can't think of the name of it right off the top. But this area goes straight down red clay. Like the Grand Canyon, right? Ancient culture used that clay to make bricks, pots, pottery, mounds right there made out of red clay, right? All through Mississippi, red clay. But see, what people don't understand is Egypt was talking about Mizraim, red clay people. Look up Mizraim, the real original meaning of Mizraim in Egypt. It's the red clay. They got something to do with your culture. It's the heritage of our people.
What's
You got it. Go ahead.
what somebody just said in the chat? They said something about Alabama red clay. My
Yeah,
grandma from Alabama.
it's all through the South.
She from Phoenix City, Alabama. It used to be Girard.
Yep, it's all through the South, bro.
Yep.
There's two things the Egyptians talked about: Mizraim, the red clay, and Kemet, the black soil. The red clay created the people. The black soil fed it. Both of those are in the southeast. We got the most red clay in the world in the southeast of America. And Egypt talked about Mizraim. That's the red soil. So you're exactly right. That's why you feel that when you look at that, because that is where our being. We are earthborn. They try to make us spaceborn, but we are earthborn. Earth got the red clay. Our mass and our evolution came from the red clay out of the mound. Ain't that interesting? The story comes from red clay mounds evolving people.
That's truly
That's the
beautiful.
creation story. Yeah, appreciate you, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Have a
no
good one.
doubt. Thank you. Y'all follow St. Angelo. Roll the corn. Y'all ever heard Rod Hayes say the red clay Mississippi dirt? That's what he's talking about. That's the creation story. Red clay got something to do with the creation. That's why it's talked about in Egypt with Mizraim. See, they don't understand. Egyptians talked about the red clay is the creation of the people. The Ben mound, the red clay, and the black soil fed them. Those are earthborn. That's the most ancient teaching through all of these cultures. You're born from the red clay and the black soil fed you. That's why Kemet and Mizraim is so big over there on the other side of the earth. Tartarian rules. What's the question you got? Yo. That's why we are copper colored. Yo.
I'm live, brother.
Yes, sir.
Peace, brother.
Peace.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate on what you were saying earlier about how these brothers be using this knowledge and they use it for self gain. I noticed that a lot because, I watch a few of you different guys, including Rob Hayes, Top Cat, just to name a few of them. But like you said, I don't want to mention no names because I don't want your, your platform to be, what I'm saying, like that. But what I was going back to saying, like, these guys use this knowledge and, they tricking our people. They give them the real knowledge, but then they start giving them their perception of, hey, I'm this and I'm that. I'm the big dog. You listen to me. You know what I'm saying? You don't listen to nobody else. And on the bigger scale, I mean, each one can teach one to bring different things to the table. Why you want to limit yourself to the people to only listen to you? Because you have another ulterior motive besides giving up the knowledge.
Exactly.
And this stuff is causing a lot of friction in the communities, what I'm saying, that we trying to build. Now, another thing I was wanting to say, like, once we get the knowledge, where do we start coming in together at? Because when we get the knowledge, we should be going out teaching the people, like the church may be doing sometimes. The church come out, but I don't see our people going out spreading like, hey, don't use the word black or African American no more. We not in that type of era no more. It's melanated or whatever we use it to keep from being down from that type of stigma. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then, like, we're not coming together. We still killing each other in the streets every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get on some other platforms and I tell them, like, okay, once we get the knowledge, why you guys ain't teaching we need to be together? Yeah. We teach you love one another again. Because I remember back when I was, younger, I'm 53. When I was younger, it was okay to knock on somebody's door and ask for some sugar.
Yeah. Yes,
it was okay to ask for some flour. You know what I'm saying? When we took care of each other when we was growing up in them projects. Now we running through that rap and killing and talking about each other, now, but we're not lifting each other up. Yeah. With the knowledge, we're supposed to be uplifting each other up. Nobody's uplifting nobody up on these platforms. Right. Nobody's not uplifting the people. That's right. We can teach the knowledge all day, but we ain't teaching it and uplifting at the same time. We're not going to never get nowhere. We're still going to be stuck because the people don't know to love each other. You know what I'm saying? The people don't know to stick together.
That's why I always tell us we God's chosen people, man. I love y'all. I'm in love with you because I know who y'all are. That's why I always say that. I say that so we can lift our head up and know our history and know how great our bloodline of people are. And what has happened is in America, they have turned us into the hunter-gatherer.
Yeah,
they made us turn our and live their culture. They made us put material things over our families and friends. They made us. Yes. They made us want to ball and do and show out in front of our own kind and separate each other by monetary value, houses and cars and clothes. Right.
Exactly.
That's their culture. See, the root of this comes from materialism of trying to act like them. So we hurt each other in the streets because we have no. How does a YT man feel about us right now? He feel like he's richer than us. He feel like he can unalive us. He feel like we're not worth nothing. They taught us those three things. So now we compete against each other like they compete against us. We hurt each other because we don't love each other no more. And if we got material things, we feel like we are better than our fellow people that look like us, right?
Right.
That's ingrained in the younger culture from being greedy and want to be, against our own people. So to fix it, we have to teach them that our culture comes from virtue, not from materialism. Our culture comes from looking out for our own people. And our people are worth everything. That car ain't worth nothing. That house ain't worth nothing. That Louis Vuitton ain't worth nothing. Your people are worth everything. Because if the world shuts down right now today, all we got is us. Everybody already against us, right?
Right.
The world shut down, me and you got to get back to back, and we got to try to take care of our people.
Right.
Because ain't nobody else gonna look out for us. Not no other culture. Because all these other cultures are against us. So we have to put our people back on top instead of material things.
Exactly.
You know, we got to start back. We got to look at a black man, or I'm sorry, we got to look at a melanated man like, bro, that is real life, my brother. Because if all go bad, me and him on the same boat. If they gonna try to get rid of both of us the same way they get rid of me, I'll try to get rid of you.
Exactly.
So, like I say, I was talking about this on the live the other day. A bunch of young guys be sending me DMs and questions on emails and everything. And when I know who they are, I instantly reach back out to them, no matter what I'm doing, because I understand that for them to be asking me these questions, they're interested in it.
Save a life.
And it might save a life. And it might turn somebody to, like, instead of me hurting and robbing this man, I ain't even gonna do that because this is my people. I can't do that. I can't. The first thing to being enlightened is you got to be in touch with your people. I know you got. If I ain't in touch with you, I can't. You know, I can't do it. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. Yo, you hear me? I'm sorry.
Fine, brother.
But what I'm gonna start doing is I want to start finding some meeting places, different parts of the country, where people I come in contact with on the internet, we can all meet up at a mound, or we can meet up at some type of place where we can just sit there and talk and bring the kids out there and get kick some of this knowledge and show them how important our people are.
Right.
We got to start by showing these children how important your people are. And I'm gonna start doing that myself. That's my way of trying to get people together in these spots and get the kids out there to talk about this type of knowledge.
That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, we need more. We need more of you, man. I mean, like, I started listening to you more than the so-called one guy, because the one guy said on April the 12th that, you know what I'm saying, that the YT people was gonna be gone. Man,
Yeah.
we all up in a whole different month, man. You know what I'm saying? You doing some coke. You doing some coke junk, man.
That's a thought. That's a thought.
And I hate that he got my melon. I mean, the brother got good knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. But you start deviating from the knowledge just like the Pan-African dudes doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? You taking the knowledge and you getting the people coming in with the knowledge. Then now you want some monetary gain. You got everything to sell. Make sure you get that. Go get that. Do this and do that. Okay, that's cool. I know you know if you promoting, you know what I'm saying, your thing, but don't you making this out of a game, man.
You making it out of a game.
You got the people brainwashed. You start brainwashing these people, man, instead of teaching them, you know what I'm saying, the true history and the knowledge. That's another thing, truth. We need to start weeding them out, man. Forget all that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm trying to be cool and let you live and survive. Man, y'all gonna have to get together, all y'all get together, and we got to start coming together on one common teaching. Instead of you teaching, we come from the stars and we star people and I'm Thoth and Dorf and everybody else. Y'all need to get together, have some type of meeting, you know what I'm saying, to come to some agreement. If you don't agree on that, man, get on up out of here, man, because we ain't teaching we come up out of the sky with some ships and this firmament over this joint, man. We ain't doing that, man. So if you gonna go teach that, and then let the people know this ain't the real right here. What dude? This is his own ideology that he done mixed in. If something got to be done, got to be some type of common ground. You know what I'm saying? Instead of because the people are everywhere with this though, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it real with you, bro. You are exactly right. That is pushing ideology on the people. That is pushing hate towards the people. We're not here to get rid of them. The things he are talking about The earth gets rid of things that harms the earth.
Exactly. The sun already don't like them.
We ain't got to do it physically. Like for us to claim that this is gonna happen physically is foolishness. The
Yeah.
earth gets rid of things that harms it. So we let the earth handle its own business when it come down to things that are harming the earth. Prophecies or is mythology. Like a lot of people who try to prophesize and say this gonna happen on this date and that. See, that is mythology. You cannot just stamp your name in cement saying that this is gonna happen at this time on this date because you are fake. You a false prophet. We
Yeah.
talk about false prophets all through our ancient culture, right?
Mm.
True enough, those people got a day coming, but that ain't for us to push. But I don't believe I don't. And you're right. Somebody got to speak out against this certain stuff because I've been hearing a lot of bad things going through the area of this, like people who trying to say something. People are just putting out their personal thoughts of what they think these things are, and acting like this is solid. But that is a speculation you are giving to people. That is not an elite receipt. So, so I don't even do that because false prophets, the ancestors get you for that.
Well, there got to be some type of common ground, big dog, because we got one half of the people this way, then we got one half of the people this way. And all it's gonna do is keep division in between what we trying to do in the
That
movement
bothers me.
and
That
with moving
bothers me.
forward. And with moving forward, we always gonna stay 2 steps behind because you looking at a rock talking about you see liars and 1967 stuff in the man. We don't. That's your own personal thing that you should do on your personal side instead of putting it out there to the masses, man. Like that, man. And like you said, it's mythology and it's what would you call
Yeah,
the other guy be doing that. I'm not gonna say his name,
yeah,
but you're putting out spookism.
yeah, yeah,
It's not. We don't need that.
yeah. You're right.
We don't need the hocus pocus.
You're right. Appreciate
They've
you,
been hocus
Terry.
pocus this. They've been hocus pocus this. We just now getting the truth. We've been hocus pocus. Now here y'all come with the hocus pocus again. You know what I'm saying? Coming from y'all, the melanated people. And if it's coming from the melanated people, people gonna
Hey,
start
right.
to tend to more gravitate to it than what I'm saying naturally.
Yeah,
Because they putting the truth in with they stuff.
yeah.
You
Appreciate
see
you.
here in the
More
rock,
people
you
in
see
there.
me with the chain on. Man, I don't see nothing, man. You need to stop this mess. And everybody that's with you saying that they see it too, man, they having some mental issues too. Because that's the thing out here now, big dog.
There you
We
go,
fighting
man.
mental issues.
Yeah,
That's the war out here. The
yeah,
war is mental issue now.
yeah,
And these people know that people love to be lied to.
yeah.
And so what they do, they feed it to them. They feed their mental with that because everybody looking to grasp onto something, to have something to hold on, to stay strong. You teach the truth. You ain't teaching hocus pocus and that.
No,
Man, you teaching the truth, and man, you got to go on and live your life with this truth and try to work better towards on learning about who you are and your ancestors are. Not I come out the sky and you got to watch and don't listen to them other guys. Cause they ain't telling you nothing. I'm the only one that can come here and do a glyph. But boy, that is a rock. And stop it. Stop it. I've been lied to so long. I know what common sense is when it's common sense now.
you're right, bro. Appreciate you. Let me get some more people in
All
here.
right, brother. Thank you, brother.
Exactly right. Y'all follow Tartarian rules. Let's follow Tartarian rules. Tartarian rules. I'm gonna explain it like this, bro. You are exactly right. This is an ancestral teaching, right? Throughout history, people have grasped on to certain ancestral teachings and tried to make it personal. They wanted to be Jesus. They wanted to be Thoth. They wanted to be Horus. They wanted to be Apollo, Zeus. They wanted to be Satan. They wanted to be Constantine. They wanted to be At a certain point, a hunter-gatherer grabs on to something, and they see it's working, and they know it's not always right, but their ego makes them keep pushing that narrative because a certain crowd of people are listening to it. And they use it for personal gain, right? Part of different people's DNA use mythology. They need mythology to go on. They need it. It empowers them. They use it as if they are connected to it some type of way spiritually. And it's wrong, right? Because like I said, the original people had no idols. The original people had no deity where they grasped onto and wanted to be. They started across the water. They didn't start over here, right? Egypt started making themselves pharaohs and making themselves hook, being linked to deities and gods. It was a problem in Egypt when monotheism and monotheism and big a single god religion goes against a multiple god religion. There was a problem in Egypt with that because that's when it was transitioning from a man trying to make himself a god, which is not the original way of doing it, right? I think Akhenaten was a part of that. Him and King Tut was going back and forth about that. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is a problem, right? You're right. The knowledge is getting separated and people going this way, people going that way, people going this way. But which way is right? The virtuous way got to be right. Ain't nobody bigger than the knowledge. Ain't nobody no deity, ain't nobody no God, ain't nobody no alien, ain't nobody summoning no aliens. Like the white boy be trying to act like he's summoning an alien, telling him information. That is, I really want to slap him upside the head real bad. But the power is in the bloodline of our people. Everybody was getting taught to being enlightened. In ancient culture, before all of that man-god stuff started, they were setting up schools teaching the culture, teaching you how to make mud bricks, teaching you the star alignment, teaching you how to irrigate the land, teaching you how to be virtuous and patient with your people. Our people done that with schools, right? In ancient times, there are ancient schools in Kush that matriarchs was teaching our knowledge to everybody wanted to learn it, right? Look it up. I'm gonna do a story about that. And that's what this was all about. They wasn't trying to be no deity or no God or no prophet or nothing like that. They was teaching you things that was already solid that we had already learned, right? And that's what I try to do. I want to teach things that are that is solid that I already know is a truth, and not something I'm speculating on, because speculation turns me into a hunter-gatherer. Either I know it or I don't, right? And if I don't know it, I ain't gonna act like I'm gonna know it. But when you start speculating, you put your personal influence on a culture's knowledge that didn't have no speculation. I had really figured this stuff out. So that's what I try. I try to keep it straightforward with things that I know to be solid, something we can stand on and learn from, and I ain't gonna deviate from that. Because if I deviate from that, in the ancient books it said, if you deviate from the ancestors' teaching, the ancestors are gonna punish you. And I ain't getting punished. Roll the coin. Call me Mister. Give me a question in the comment. Yo.
Hey yo, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, how you doing?
Doing fine. Not too long ago, I was out. I'm from LA. I was out balling, and I came across some brothers. I was so into Haile Selassie and the pharaohs, Muhammad, and I'm starting to realize that the thing that divide a lot of us melanated America is it talks about what you talk about. It goes back to Egypt versus Israel, because even though we are from this land, we got a division within understanding things, and they are idol worshippers. Because I was telling them, you can't tell me that Haile Selassie is superior than me or my people from Belize, Texas, Louisiana. You feel me?
Yeah.
And I feel like we've been indoctrinated, and the invader have blended in through our lineage, through our maternal chromosome. So I did genealogy through, I did research on my dad's side, my mom's side, and I'm finding out that like the McConan lineage have some weird connection to like my mom lineage, and I do McConan. I'm doing research on McConan. That nigga, that's Haile Selassie. You feel me? And he was the head of the Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
And we think that it was just the white tea. No, these Arabs look like us, and they came over here and took our lands, and they blended in with our grandparents, and they hid in the masonry in the modern,
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the thing that divides us, because we have one crowd of melanated people that's Pan-Africanism, which is Darwinism. So I let them know, if you a Pan-Africanist, you believe you came from a monkey, because it derived from out of the Lucy the monkey theory.
There you go.
Then they get mad at me. Then I I'll start getting hate comments and all this, because they don't understand it's a false algorithm, a false frequency. Then you get the Muslims that be like, it's a dude who started as a coach saying that I'm a descendant of one of the Muslims of Muhammad, and saying that my ancestors are part of this. And you don't realize that's all idol worship, which derived from Egypt. So you're descendants of the ones that we fought in the mainland over here.
Yeah.
So I just found out it's just different lineages of our own people that's against us, that is against the evolution of us finding the truth. So it's not even really the white tea fault. It's us. It's Decepticons versus Autobots.
Nah, white tea ain't never learned nothing when live people teach.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of what you're talking about. See, this is where the problem happened there, right? Our people go to Egypt and the Middle East and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The culture is pure. It's no idol worship, because Kushites didn't have no idols, right? Egyptians had idols, Kushites didn't have no idols. But Egyptians learned that culture from Kush. Kush had no idols. So over time, when you mix with these different type of people, they start getting different ideologies of what you taught them.
Facts.
So you take a no idol culture with Haru and Horus and all of that, right? With meanings of nature things, and you take it literally, you turn it into men deities. Now the pharaoh got the big head, because he think he Osiris, and he think he Thoth, and he think he Osiris and Isis and Anubis and all of this, right?
And all these different deities, and it was for me, it was hard. I'm telling you. Oh, you can talk.
So this is what happens over there. The pharaohs start changing the religion. I mean, the spirituality into a more deity spirituality, right? Getting big heads, because we mixed in with the people who do that, right? Yeah. Then it evolved all the way up into deity work with the pharaohs at the end of Egypt. Then these other cultures come in. Assyria, Ottoman Empire, Greek Rome, all these other cultures come in, and they make it even worse. The head gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we got the Muslim teachings. Now we got Greek teachings, Roman teachings. Now we got all this big head stuff that came from a culture that was pure, and now it turned into all of these other
deities,
man-loving deities, right? And so that culture evolves, and it turns all into Christianity and Muslims. These are the only people left at this point. The Christians run the Muslims all the way to Spain, run them off the land. Then they come here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Crusades. Now, when you come back over here, after all that went on over there, after y'all took our original religion from the ancient world and turned it into all this other stuff with all these other teachings and books and misdirection, you bring that stuff right back over here to the Pure Land.
Wow.
And when you bring it back to the Pure Land, that's why we got all these Moors on the land. That's why we got all these Arabs on the land. That's why we got all these Muslims on the land, and we got all these different teachers on the land, because they brought European and African ideologies
teachings.
from the pure culture that they switched around and bring it back over here. And that's when the problem starts.
Wow, because I'm realizing that my dad's side of the family, fully Caribbean, Belizean, and we got our full now, dark skin, look like Negro Asiatics,
Mm-hmm.
and indigenous to the land. And my mom's side, they're more like they're mixed. They're more. They have like connections to the Eastern Star, Masons, the Moors, and it's like I have my aunties pushing the star, the moon, and one side is totally against that. So it's like I was at war with both worlds because I'm eternally like a Messiah from Mayan, and I mean I'm paternity to that. Maternally, I'm like I got like some little idol worship going on in my lineage, so I'm choosing the side of no idol worship because that is the true path of the land. You feel me? And as I'm finding this, I find out that my family members don't like that, and they in cahoots with the different cults and different things, and I didn't really notice until I
They
found out.
took ancient knowledge and made it into
Yeah,
what's going on today. Like Eastern
yeah,
stars. Eastern star is nothing but the star rising in the east, right?
yeah,
East to west is a rise. That's a solstice. That's an equinox. Stars rise from east to west. Sun sets in the sun rise in the east, sets in the west. This star rise in the east. Sirius rise in the east. See what I'm saying? So it
yeah.
became a belief system from stars aligned for agriculture in the beginning to teach you when to do things agriculturally. Then it became spiritual. But over time, they took that and made it into ideologies and religions. So
Whoa.
that's where the things went wrong, and that's where that comes from.
Yeah, okay. I just started to realize, I was walking down, Crenshaw, I'm from over there near LA, Crenshaw, Slauson. I was walking down, they have a lot of the Muslims, I mean, the Israelites over there. And I'm realizing that the Israelites, they don't care about what you have to say.
No,
They are against anything that is against their belief system.
yeah,
So I'm realizing that this occult business is a lineage of other lineages that came in cahoots with our bloodline as against the understanding. So I just let our people know that we have to be careful for people that look like us when it comes to expanding your knowledge because
you have
some
to
of them
understand what their thinking process is and what they're trying to put off.
they could try to backdoor you.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a aunt, my family was telling me, this, why you think you Indian? Why you think you from this land? But why I get my genealogy of my great grandmother, my cousin, his name Falk, he a rapper, he from North Cal, no, South San Diego. He went to get the genealogy. We found out that my great great grandmother, she was a Choctaw, dark skinned, woolly hair, and she was born in a reservation, but she was fully melanated, darker than me. And these are documented in half of her tribe that she was from. The lineages, the runaway Indians became non-citizens, and they became what is it called? You
Um,
are you're
outlaw
not
Indian.
outlaw Indian. So once you became an outlaw Indian, you were disposable people. And once you became a disposable people, you were not a free or nothing. You was just, they was able to label you anything you would, they labeled you. And most of the Indian tribes that weren't really big and known that got exterminated, they fell into those categories.
Yeah.
And we've in what Pan Africanism is going on, they forget that half the world was melanated. Australia, Philippines, the Polynesian Islands. It wasn't just that land. So they outcast the truth of it was plenty of melanated people in all these other continents, but America, we were the teachers of all those nations.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were the school. We was the main school that taught those nations. So when you go into Pan Africanism, it teaches you, oh, that's false. That's false. So that's why it's scary. So it's really a war within our own people before anything because we don't know who was who.
Appreciate you. Yeah, you right.
Thank
Right. Appreciate it, bro. Good
you,
question.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you.
Follow Mister right now. Follow Mister. And I'm expanding what you were saying, Mister. I gotta get the last couple people in here. Muhammad is put as a man deity, right? it can't be right in our spirit and soul to have a human being, man, deity, right? That is what's crazy about it. That is literally a teaching from the Middle East after they got knowledge from the ancient culture, and they turned it into knowledge of a single man prophet. Right? See, they're still prophesizing. Muhammad was supposed to be a prophet, right? When I see prophesizing going on, I know that it's some type of idol worship, because people try to try to use prophet like they can predict the future and all of that. That is a reach that is too far. It's reaching too far. So anything prophesized is reaching, right? So when you come talking about Pan-Africans and all these other religions, those religions were started over there across the world, on their side of the world, and they turned man into deity, man into God, man into you listen to me, and it's the end of it. And that's not our people's culture. That is hunter-gatherer teachings. Hunter-gatherer teachings. Islam with their prophet stuff, I can't. It's too much. It's too much. So they brought that back to our land, the land of the pure heart, and they put it back in our people. And we regurgitating knowledge that's way after the fact. So you're right. You have to listen to people. You have to see what their intentions and goals are when they're trying to teach or they're trying to portray it on you, because a lot of you people come from are trying to put off their belief system on you, right? And automatically, anybody try to put a belief system off on you, they're forcing it. They're doing too much. So that's not what I'm about. I don't do that to nobody. Whatever you believe in, but at the same time, you got to know that if it's a prophet or a man deity or a god, something like that, that's not original to your culture. So you have to research it. Like, I can go through all the cultures and kind of tell you where all this stuff come from. Hindu, I can break down all of them, but the original culture is you learn nature and astronomy to feed your people, and you got spiritual doing it, and that is the original culture. And when I go through all these books, it's talking about the same thing, but it's decoded, right? Because spring equinox is for agriculture. Summer solstice, all seeing eyes for agriculture. So you got to understand it. You got to understand that. Hidden Gem, what's up? Well, y'all. So I'm gonna say it. Give me a 2 if you hear me. Give me a 2 if you hear me. Give me a 2 if you hear me. What's up, Chief Smoker? Give me a 2 if you hear me. Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Now, this is what I got to say about all of this stuff, man. Like I say, they're turning this into a game, people. They turn this into who can lie the best, who can get the biggest following, who can persuade people to think the way I think. And when I see people doing that is not right. Because you think what you think, but you don't put your own personal spin on knowledge that is 10,000 years old. You can't do that. The world was different. The world was different. Times are different. The people are different. Everything is different. So what I try to do is I try to teach it as if we are in that time. While I'm teaching a certain teaching, I'm trying to take you back to that time frame and give it to you the way it was taught during that time frame, right? If I'm sitting here talking about mound builders digging copper out the Great Lakes, this is before all religions had even started, right? So you can't put no religion on it. You can't put no language on it. You can't put no prophecy on it, because that just is what it is. If a culture was digging copper on the Great Lakes 5 to 10,000 years ago, it wasn't no belief system. The only belief system they had was what they was doing at the time, what they used that mineral for, or what they used that mine for, or something like that. We was making artifacts out of it. We was making axes and copper swords and stuff like that. Copper armor, and copper armor goes right along with the real Hebrew teaching, because the real Hebrews wore copper. All the people on the Mississippi River were buried in that copper in the mounds are the original Hebrew, right? And like dude said, all of that Hebrew Israelite stuff, Hebrew is Ibri, which is people passing through. So Israel is not the original place of that bloodline of people. They were just passing through there, right? You can sit there and say a whole word to a people and try to teach them they from Israel, but the whole time Hebrew came from Ibri, which means passing through. So therefore, that's not where the original place is at. And on top of that, Jeru came from Haru. So ain't no Jerusalem without Haru. Ain't no Jeru without Haru. That is a etymology of that. It comes from Haru. So you got to understand that the culture before the Jerusalem culture are the people that they are praising. They really praising your ancestors, turning your ancestors into gods and deities with the teaching that they done, right? So we got to understand that. Then, like I say, when I break down Jerusalem with the mounds and all of that, we understand that somebody went over there and taught those people that. So Hebrew Israelites are really teaching that you are from a place you are not from. That's what they're really doing. That's why they bother me, because they teach that you are from Jerusalem, that you are from the Middle East, that you are from Africa, but Jerusalem is not the original place of their teaching. And I want people to understand that. That is the second coming of the knowledge of people, of our people. That is the place where we settled in that side of the world. And that's where they try to teach where it started at, but it's not the place where we originate from. You originate on the Mississippi Valley, Mississippi River. That's where it originates from. That's where it originates from. Let me show y'all something to go along with the point I just said. Let me show you. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Roll the corn. Ancient Hebrews. Copper for armor, people. Copper for armor, particularly in the form of bronze, which is an alloy of copper and tin, right? That's where the Bronze Age comes in, right? Now you have to understand the Bronze Age, because the Bronze Age is when our people were moving around the world with this so-called Hebrew teaching. Ibri is people passing through, which means Hebrew. So people passing through with copper. That's when you track down the real original Eber or Hebrew. You track that copper. Why is copper in the mounds? Every last one of them. Now you starting to understand. Who has the purest copper and the oldest copper mines on the face of the earth? The Great Lakes. Now you understand. These are the melanated American Indian ancestors, right? Why is Michigan copper found in Europe, Egypt, Israel? See, now y'all want me to break it down to the simplest form. Who are these people talking about? It's talking about to Americans, bro. Only 90% copper on the face of the earth come from America. When they test that copper in the mounds around the world, it's over 90% pure. Only place it is on the world is in the Midwest. So now, we got ancient mound builders in copper armor found in mounds all up the Mississippi River. Come on, man. Y'all stick with me now. Stick with me. Who are the Hebrew, the Ebri, the Eber, the Aparu? Who are these people? They come with agriculture. They come with structure building. They come with this copper from the Midwest. And they got a teaching of how to be virtuous and how to plant crops and teach people. The so-called, they talking about the Atlantean. They talking about the Hebrew, and the Atlantean at the same time. It's the same thing. They just give them different names. The Atlantean, the Hebrew people, the God's chosen people. God's chosen people are connected with nature. These were the most people connected with nature on the face of the earth on the Mississippi Valley, and they are older. Because the mounds in America are older than Egypt. So you have to understand where that culture come from. I can't break it down no better than that, bro. So when you study what I'm telling y'all, y'all gonna find the truth. You're gonna find the truth. Who is this culture putting this Midwest copper all around the world? You finding copper in all the mounds. You finding hemp clothing in all the mounds. Steatite, hematite, soapstone, copper, bronze. All of that is found in the mounds in America, older than everywhere else. Now you have an Egyptian, thousands of years later, using the same stones these people use with the same teaching. With mounds. And you ain't figured it out yet. Them people that was buried on the Mississippi River are our ancestors of America. Your bloodline still is the Eber. You still are God's chosen people. And you still are the Atlantic. Somehow people just journeyed out and built it around the world. Right? And we kept evolving, using the same symbol as the mound builder, the Eber people, the Hebrews. And we put them same symbols on the buildings. The griffin, the swastika, the double-headed serpent. All that come from here. And all these archaeologists know the truth, but they are summoned not to tell the truth because their whole family will get erased off the face of the earth if they sit here and tell you that culture came from the Mississippi River. You are God's chosen people. That bloodline never left the land. Some of it left the land to teach other cultures and around the world. But over 50% of it stayed right here on the Mississippi River, didn't go nowhere, evolved until the melanated American Indian, right into the bloodline of your great-great-grandmama and them, right into your bloodline as you sit here on this live today. And we don't even know it. It started here. It left with a couple of people, but most of their bloodline stayed here and it's still in your veins today. You are God's chosen people. Roll the corn. Astrology is Hebrew. The Bible try to break up stars and religion. Wouldn't be no religion if it wasn't for the stars. Wouldn't be no religion if it wasn't for the spring equinox and the summer solstice. For agriculture of our Hebrew ancestors. Hebrew ancestors. They created the star alignment. They taught it around the world. It became religion. Simple. It became, the Muslims took it, Christians took it, Phoenicians got it, Egyptians got it. The basis of all the knowledge that y'all talk about, all these different cultures, came from this ancient mound building culture of America. I'm telling you what I know. If they are aligning the Falcon, which is Sirius, Orion's belt, Cygnus, and the Pleiades star system, and all of that becomes different symbols in other sides of the world. The Chinese are still naming their cars after our star alignment to this day. Subaru is the Pleiades. Nissan is a star. Come on, man. Roll the corn. Jesus come from the story of Haru. Haru is the celestial rising of Sirius in front of the sun. Same story. Hindu, they got the first Hindu people melanated with corn, wearing red beads to protect against the destruction of the crops. Red jasper. And that's where all that stuff come from. Right? So you read a book over there in Europe and Africa, then you come over here and see the people doing exactly what you read in the book. Word for word, and nobody never taught them that. That's why they start calling y'all the lost tribes of Israel. Because they got their knowledge from that side of the world. They come over here with the book wide open and see people living just like the book say. Pure in nature. Virtuous. They're like, how in the hell do these people over here in America live the way we trying to live out this book? Because that's where it came from, dummy, hunter-gatherer. We had already mastered the art of that because our ancestors taught us that. Y'all learned that out of book. Y'all learned that off stolen artifacts. Y'all learned that from different cultures, Samaria, Egypt, Indus Valley. Our bloodline had went through there thousands of years ago. So y'all learned that stuff and thought y'all was come teach us something. Whole time y'all changed our words around and try to give it back to us in Christianity. Simple. But that basic greatest story ever told that's in the Bible, it came from your ancient ancestors of the mound builders. Think about it. Anu is Orion. Right? Every god you can think of coming right out this star line. Roll the corn. Simple. Inky is the southern stars. Enlil is the northern star over the equator. It's all star alignment work. So being in tune with nature and knowing the stars to help you get through nature is the way it really went down. Then it became other things. Then you got to understand the resurrection The resurrection of Osiris is the resurrection of the earth, resurrecting during the spring. That's why Osiris sprouts corn during the spring, beginning of spring. All that come from agriculture. Now you understand it. Now you understand why the pharaoh buried with a crook and a flail for agriculture and cattle. He became a pharaoh because he knows the process of agriculture. If he can't feed his people, he can't become a pharaoh. If he could not feed his people, they would behead a pharaoh, people. You got to know that. He was enlightened because he knew agriculture to feed his people. That's why on some of this American stuff, you got the corn with the flail. See that? Corn with the flail? They were enlightened on the agriculture. Old mix had corn on their forehead, lit up like a third eye. Because if you don't know that agriculture knowledge, you're not enlightened. That's what taught you astrology. So the old mix put the corn on their head as a third eye. It's on their statues. That's where all that come from. The all-seeing eye is the summer solstice. The harvest, people. That's the most important time of the year. The spring and the summer is the most important times of our culture. The all-seeing eye is helixual rising. It's the sun, the Sirius star, over the mound or the pyramid. That is the all-seeing eye. That's why it's on front of $1. The sun and the Sirius star in front of a mound or a pyramid. That's the all-seeing eye. The Sirius in front of the sun is the all-seeing eye, people. This time for the harvest. That's where the eye of Horus comes from. Horus is the Sirius star, right? Haru is the Sirius star, right? The eye of Horus. The Sirius in front of the sun, aligned with the mound or the pyramid or the temple, is the all-seeing eye. So when I show you a dollar bill, let me show you a dollar bill right quick. So when I show you this, this is broke off the top of the pyramid. The all-seeing eye broke from the pyramid, broke from the stone structure. That is a representation. Y'all hear me? Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Give me a 2. Y'all hear me? Give me a 2. Give me a 2. When I show y'all this on the dollar, the U.S. corporation put this on here to it's a mind thing. They're really playing with your intelligence because they're saying that we broke y'all from the knowledge. We broke you from the knowledge. That's what this means. The eye is the Sirius, right? The light behind that triangle is the sun. So when that Sirius aligns with the sun over the top of a mound or a pyramid during the summer solstice, that is harvest season. That's why you talk about the harvest all through the Bible and all of that. This harvest season. So if I break up the eye in the sun from the base of the pyramid, that means I broke the culture on this land. That means they don't know the culture no more. We broke it. We understand it, but we broke it from the people. We broke it from the body of the people. So what we're doing right now is putting this back together, right? That means they broke us from the knowledge. That's a Freemason symbol. That means we know this, but the body, the people who embodied it don't know it. So we break it up from from the knowledge from the people, right? That's what that is, people. You learned astrology and lined it up with pyramids and mounds on the ground to teach our people when is the time for the harvest. That's the most enlightened time of the year. And once you learn this astrology, you are enlightened. But the Freemasons, which is the government, put this on the dollar to show you that we broke them up from their knowledge. We broke them. Why would this be on the, if pyramids are not from America, why would this be on our money? If this knowledge is not of this land, why would it be on the money? Why they ain't put a turtle on the motherfucker? They put the pyramid on there because this is the ancient land of the pyramid. This is where the first stone pyramids was built. But by me separating the Sirius and the sun from the alignment with the mound, they don't know they lost their culture. That means they don't know their culture no more. We separated it from them. So what we gotta do is put that back on top. Boom. And let the motherfuckers know we know what this means now, right? We know what this means now. Our ancestors came up with this astrology to feed our people off alignments with stars and mounds, pyramids, and temples. Mounds, pyramids, and temples, people. It just so happened I got a receipt right here waiting for talking about this. Mounds, pyramids, and temples. Let me show you. Native. Let me see. Native blacks. Hope I got it right here. Let me see. Roll the coin. See if I got that receipt. Hope I got it. I got to show y'all this just to show you what I'm talking about. Let me see. But it was talking about the native blacks built mounds, pyramids, and temples. I might don't have the receipt right off right now, but I'll find another time. But it's talking about, I got a newspaper clipping, bro. It's so deep and so powerful. It's saying our people left here, built in Asia, hunter-gatherers following us the whole time, stopped in Samaria, went to Egypt. Hunter-gatherers talking about the native blacks built it. And they are following us around on the earth. I got a whole receipt with that. Roll the coin. Matter of fact, I got to show it to you now. I got to show it. Y'all hold on one second. I got to show it. And I'm going to get out of here after this. Put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2 in the chat. Put a 2. As we follow. See that? The nomad builders of these structures. As we follow the nomad builders of these structures. They built the Tower of Babylon, the temple, the shit in the biblical story, Babylon. As we follow these people, we overcome them in the valley of the Nile. The native blacks, as they have already built up and done it in Asia, setting up a civilization peculiarly their own, erecting their mounds, towers, and pyramids. Each step of their progress as an improvement on the general idea, right? Remote ancestors carried out from continent which is, right, inhabitants before the incoming ocean. They are talking about they are foreigners on these lands. Foreigners on these different lands, people. You see that? This come from a YT man mouth in the 1800s. This come from a YT man mouth in the 1800s. He not lying. What he's saying is they leaving somewhere, stopping in Asia. We overtake them in Asia. They keep going to the Valley of the Nile. They are erecting mounds, towers, and pyramids the whole time. You see it? Mounds, towers, and pyramids. They just passing through. This is the Ibri. Where they coming from? Right here. See, when you put all these receipts together and you know what you're looking for, they can't lie to you no more. Right? Let's go through that one more time, and I'm gonna get off of here, but I want y'all to really, really understand what this man is saying. He said, as we follow the nomad builders of these structures, we overcome them in the Valley of the Nile. The native blacks, melanated people, as they had done in Asia. So that means we went through Asia and we went through the Nile, right? Setting up civilizations peculiarly their own, erecting mounds, towers, and pyramids. What else do I got to show you? What else do I got to show you? This come out of YT man mouth in Iowa, who was an archaeologist, writing in the newspaper. And they were foreigners on foreign land. See that? Building mounds and pyramids. They not from there. They not from the Nile. They not from Asia. They not from Samaria. I'm going to go find the original newspaper, because this is one of my videos, and I'm going to put it back out so y'all can screenshot it, bro. Let me get out the way. You can catch that a little bit. But this is what really happened, people. All that stuff in the Bible, your people really built it. Tower of Babel, ruined temples. As we follow these people, as we follow the nomad builders of these structures, the Semitic people they talking about didn't come from Africa. They went to the Nile. We overcome them in the Valley of the Nile. The same way we done it in Asia. They are following us, fucking with us the whole time. Don't you see what's going on? This is where they learned their knowledge from. After we planted the seed in these places, then they go back and get the knowledge from these places. Copper, corn. That's why I say roll the corn. Roll the copper. All of us still coming from here going over there. We moving around through Asia, all through the Middle East, all through Europe, all to Africa. But we are the people with the knowledge of mounds, towers, and pyramids. Roll the corn. I love you. I'm in love with you. Y'all have a great day. Good live today. If you didn't catch the first part of the live, subscribe to my YouTube. The link is in my bio. Go back and watch it for me, man, and throw a comment in there. I love y'all. I'm in love with you because y'all are God's chosen people. I just showed y'all where the Ibri come from. Right here on the land that we live on today. The bloodline still on the land, coming out the dirt up into you right now today. Ain't nothing. It ain't even hard, bro. We try to make this stuff way harder than what it is. You have to understand what these people were doing and what kind of materials they had to trace them back to a particular place on the earth. I trace them right back to the Mississippi River, from the bottom all the way up to the Great Lakes. And they wore that copper, huh? They wore that copper. They wore that copper armor, huh? One more receipt. One more receipt. Copper armor. One more receipt. Copper armor. Watch this. Who are the Hebrews? Who are the Hebrews, big dog? I thought they were from Israel. Let me show you that one more time. I ain't even gonna read it. I ain't even gonna read it. I ain't even gonna read it. Who the Hebrews is? Who the Hebrew? Where they come from? See, you gotta know what they done to prove who they are. Who they is, where they come from. Huh? Them mounds in Louisiana, 11, 12,000 years old. Copper armor, all of them. Where they come from? Huh? And yeah, and somebody want to debate, we know the truth. Now, you want to really debate me? You don't really want no smoke with me, bro. See, niggas on the internet talking about Hebrew fake. Talking about Hebrew and Hebrew fake. But thought real, though. Thought real, but our people fake, huh? Now, nigga, you fake. Roll the coin. You don't know what you talking about. You teaching hunter-gatherer teachings. This come from the ancestors right here. You can't debunk that. How you gonna debunk that? How you gonna debunk what I just showed you? And I'll show you a whole man in a whole copper suit. And the copper come from the Great Lakes, older than everywhere else on the planet. That's why they want copper, because copper from their original land. Ain't that much copper in no damn Israel. Ain't no copper like that in no Samaria. Ain't no copper in Jerusalem like that. That's the second coming of our people, teaching them over there. This the first coming right here. Them mound builders in them damn mounds on the Mississippi motherfucking river. We not only Indians. We've been here the whole time. Now, how powerful is that? The people they speak of in the Bible, they talk about your bloodline. The people they speak of in the Bible, they talking about your bloodline, right here from this land. You got to be able to decode this shit. It took me years to decode it. But one thing I had to understand, truth now, you got to understand the artifacts, because they cannot debunk artifacts. Once you learn what they use different minerals for and where it come from, then you break the code. The code broke. Start researching the Bronze Age and the copper and the mound builders moving around in the Bronze Age, setting up mounds all over the world. That same bloodline that one evolved to build them buildings in them areas, the Tartarian-style buildings in them same damn areas. Experts with granite and limestone, expert miners, expert builders, expert irrigation and agriculture on the river. God's chosen people in tune with nature. There you go right there. North American Mound builder. I love y'all. I'm in love with you. We know the truth now.